brace yourself because this race can get pretty crazy. Well, the way I drive it. Aston Martin Valkyrie, fully upgraded. We are in the exclusive series at Porsche Test Track Dynamic Circuit. And this is a hard circuit because it's not meant for traffic. It's a test track. So you can see this is super narrow. Like Porsche short and long are already narrow. This is ridiculously narrow. Now, you're already noticing some things. I just did a ridiculous wall ride, then I went and cut off track, and now what happens here? Yeah, well, there's a little bit of a drop there, and maybe even a jump sometimes. Now check this out. This is kind of funny. You probably didn't know that there's a passing zone. Watch what happens. That wasn't off track. My distance didn't turn red for any of that. Now there, it's red. I'm way off track. I blew the corner. So anyhow, that happens sometimes. But what I've been trying to do here is trying to see if this is an endless endurance race, because I've never seen one at Dynamic Circuit. And I just nicked a button. Guided access is something you enable when you're on iOS if you don't want interruptions. It is an absolute necessity for doing online multiplayer. I actually did a whole video about that because iOS is silly. You can accidentally partially close the app when you're trying to do something like pause the game or change the camera angle, and then you disconnect from OMP and you lose a bunch of points. So I'll put a link up to that video. Right now I'm having to play with my phone upside down because I'm wearing out my screen from all this racing, guys. Literally, I'm having it so that my brake pedal and gas pedal wasn't working sometimes. Well, rotate your screen and I find out that it's my screen that's wearing out. So that button's in a bad place for me. Look at this! Woohoo! Yes, it's another Valkyrie first flight, or second flight in this case, because I did first flight at Laguna Seca. So let's warp ahead a little bit here. This corner here is really awesome in this car. You can do one braking point and ridiculously power through that. Now let's talk about wall rides. You can do this in a time trial if you get it just right. Believe it or not in a weekly time trial tournament, but in regular time trials in the game, if you do that just right, you will not get a penalty. Oh, I love that jump. I slow motion that for you. And it's not good to do a big jump like that because then you're going to blow getting back onto the track, and this is going to hurt your distance for this endurance race as far as making it endless. By the way, awesome thing about this track is that you encounter a traffic that's going the opposite direction, meaning you see them. You don't actually have a chance to hit them. But that will be our first indicator of whether I'm actually getting near the perpetual point. There, the way I just did that, probably could get away with that in a time trial still. It's kind of amazing. I actually did a test on this recently using Hong Kong. And at Hong Kong, you can still do 3 wall rides in 1 lap and not get a DNF if you do it just right. Usually it involves a very slight tap with your front end before you dig the back end. Now watch this. Let's see if I can get it this time. Oh, I think I'm too far out. If you get it right, oh my goodness, you get the incredible experience of how much this car grips. Big wall ride. Woo! Oh, crazy sounds. And look at the traffic. Okay, look at my distance. That's too much traffic for this distance. I'm starting to hit the perpetual point. But can I keep this going? That is the big question. And I still have some bigger targets to hit because some of my friends can hit some pretty good targets. Some of these guys are some really skilled time trial drivers. Now let's see if I nail it this time. There you go. You see that arc? You got to get that just right. You drive towards the wall and then start driving away from the wall and just, oh, it's awesome in this car. Oh, what an awesome wall ride that was. Man, that's fun. And you got to watch not to have contact, of course. Then he takes 5 seconds to disappear. Beautiful jump. And the Valkyrie actually bounces here too. I have a video, I'll put it at the end, but I've got a video where the Valkyrie does this hilarious jump at Laguna Seca. It bounces a couple of times. I've never seen it before, but something about the physics of this car, it bounces. So there we go, I'm officially in first place, but that's not really what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to see if I can drive this endlessly. And look at that! Look at all those cars! Oh, nuts, I got on the brakes too late. sometimes the wall ride can be super successful, and you go just a lot further than you mean to. Here I'm driving it really deep. I was hoping to overtake 2 cars. I'm finding that's not the good way to do it. The good thing to do is take a small jump and then get back on track and stay full throttle as soon as possible. But it's really, really difficult to do that. This is an extremely difficult track. At this point, I am in the perpetual point phase, but there's no room for mistakes here. I'm finding this is incredibly hard, but there you can see it. I'm obviously at the perpetual point. Hey, that was a little bit better, but I should have been on track sooner, and it's just yada, and I'm really pushing it. Come on, let's go. I got him. Get back. Oh, that was a better merger back onto the track. So it kind of feels like I'm sinking here. I'm not building time, and so I'm waiting. Often in an endless endurance race, the bots start to get closer and closer, and it's just not happening. It means that my lap times aren't fast enough, even with the cuts. So here I'm going to try to anticipate my slowing down time, and I kind of blew it. I wasted time there with how I did that cut. So I'm really trying to push this, and major T-bone. And I did a horrible job in accident recovery, but at that point, I might have been okay if I did better with accident recovery. That was bad. But let's just see. I might be able to catch up to them. The big group of bots might be just around this corner. Well, probably not. Probably around the, probably around the wall riding section. Let's get into this. So you have to make it so that your nose just nicks the wall and then stays off it. So at this point, only the back end should contact the wall. So you have to over tilt your phone a little bit to the left, but not so much that you spin out. It's a little bit tricky. Now let's pause this and move around the car so you can see the Valkyrie in flight. Beautiful. There you go. You got to see that jump spot. And there's another jump spot here, which I won't take because you got to go the wrong way to take it. We're not going to get another lap, so I'm going to speed this up right away. If you liked this video, please press like, please subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I guess you could press the other button. Whatever you want to do. And thanks for joining me today. Here's some other links you might find interesting, and hope you enjoyed the carnage.